What's happening, folks? Back with another reaction, back with some more garbage, and we're returning to the 2001 album Beautiful Garbage. Thank you as always to Phil, as well as to all those following this deep dive. And the next song is the painfully titled Nobody Loves You, though I wouldn't be surprised if there's more to the themes at play than the literal meaning of the phrase, but it certainly sounds critical, it sounds dismissive, even insulting, and thus has a melancholy, a pain to it. But yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if there is some complication to what otherwise sounds like a brutal title, though at the same time, I guess I wouldn't be amazed if it is as heavy and anguished as it sounds. Though again, it feels like it's something a person says to be critical, to inflict pain on another person, because if they had care for someone, even if they weren't actually loved by anyone, they might try to find a silver lining or to be more delicate. But to say nobody loves you is to be very direct about a lack of affinity or affection. So let's see what it is in practice. This is Garbage. The track is Nobody Loves You, and it's from their 2001 album Beautiful Garbage. What a shift.
Watching the days slip by so fast, knowing our fate has long been cast, working our fingers to the bone, 'cause nobody loves you when you're gone.
what a tune. Okay, first of all, Shirley's vocals on that, especially at the end, were stunning and dramatic. I felt like I was listening to like this gothic theater pop tune, if that makes any sense. Secondarily, lyrically, I'm intrigued because, in one way, it feels like she's talking to another person, not letting them in and so on. But I feel like maybe the you is her because, she's not letting anyone in and the love isn't reaching her, so nobody loves you feels like it could be self referential. Of course, it could be directed at another person or the other person of the tune. But either way, it feels like the melancholy that I would expect from the title is there, but it's not angled or facing the direction I thought it would be. Thirdly, the contrast of the tune sonically and indeed like a bit vocally as well was stunning because in the bigger sections it had this discordant, like tension filled, a bit dissonant, and like everything's going to shake apart and come tumbling down, which again lent itself to a bit of a theatrical quality. And that's like where the gothic feeling was, like this, big old theater with like emotions that have decayed or fallen into disrepair. But then it goes into those like jazzy sections with like those echoed kind of jazzy chords, and in those sections she had a bit more of a mellow and flowing vocal delivery. And then of course there were those moments where either after a quick dead pause or just suddenly it would key up and all the big power would return. So I like the contrast and thus the balance of the tune sonically and vocally. So yeah, lyrically I'm not entirely certain. I didn't hear all the lines fully or clearly, but as I said, it feels like there is a walling off of the narrator, and thus it might be her who is not loved, but not just because someone is being spiteful or dismissive, but because it's like emotional issues that she has ongoing. So either way, a stunning tune, a tune with a lot of scope to it, a theatricality, a gothic horror, like musical sort of vibe, and yet still with guitar edge. Like indeed, the bigger sections, not only did they have a bit of this like gothic theatricality, but they also had a bit of that, edgy alternative rock sound that I was aware of even before I began this deep dive. So in a way it feels like exceptional in their catalog, and yet in another way it feels very much on brand, so to speak. So yeah, a stunning tune, especially shout out to Shirley's vocals. Let me know what you think of this one, and I will see you for the next time. Peace.